Welcome to the Rankin Podcast Reaction Show, where we go over our lists and generally just make fun of each other for 10 to 15 minutes, where we are recapping our lists of our top 5 favorite Jimmies. We're done as Jim Carrey, number 1.
Right. The only spot for him on any list.
On any list.
That starts with Jimmy's.
On any list that is very specific to this one list. I put Jim Carrey down, and I thought, do I like Jim Carrey more than I like Jim Ross? No. James Earl Jones? No. James Franco? No. Jimmy Carr? No. Jim Henson? No. Jimmy Neutron? Maybe. Do I like Jim Carrey more than I like Jimmy Neutron? Potentially.
See, I went through and I was like, Jim Carrey, number 1, obviously. Then I was like, James Earl Jones. And then, Jim Carrey is so far ahead of everybody else on my list. It's ridiculous. I know 3 movies that James Earl Jones is in, and he voice acts 2 of them. And he's in the 3rd one for 5 minutes.
He's in Field of Dreams.
Okay, 4 movies, and he's in 4 movies. Well, he's in like 11 movies, but 4 different franchises.
Okay, how many Mark Hamill movies do you know?
Right, like the Star Wars ones, and then Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then any movie where he voices the Joker.
Right. Then voiceover.
He played Cockknocker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
He did. You can't hold James Earl Jones voice acting against him.
I'm not holding it against him.
That's how, what else would you do? That's like being like, well, Ron Jeremy sucks because all he does is porn. Well, yeah, he's got an 11-inch dick. What else would you do? Expect him to be a fucking jockey?
So we said we were going to talk about Club Dread.
It's
phenomenal.
The Broken Lizard is underrated. Like Super Troopers is one of the funniest movies ever made.
Yes.
And I will die on that hill. Super Troopers 2 is just okay. But Super Troopers
2 had some really, really fucking funny moments in it. Like when he's in like the outhouse getting mauled by the bear. That was really funny to me.
But Super Troopers is an hour and 38 minutes
of constant laughter.
Hilarity. And Club Dread.
These schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Candy bars.
You must have eaten like $100 worth of weed and like $50 worth of shrooms. So I'm going to need like $150.
I'm going to get that 150 from you. The entire movie is great. But Club Dread.
It's such a departure from their other movies, but it's still so good. Because they try and... It's not just comedy. There's a little bit of horror in there. But
oh man, it's got a 5.7 on IMDb, which is it's under
5.7. Like anything from like a 5 to a 7 is kind of subjective. But I'll watch about anything that has over a 6 on it. Because critics rate it and then fans kind of rate it and balance it out to where it should be. But 5.7 seems a little low for it.
Super Troopers is a 7.1.
But it's very campy.
Super Troopers 2 is a 6.1.
Club Dread's better than Super Troopers 2.
Super Troopers is better than a 7. Super Troopers is better than a 7.1, and it is better than 1 point higher than
2.
Than Super Troopers 2.
So Club Dread, they all go to this island that's run by like knockoff and Jimmy Buffett.
Bill Paxton.
And it's Bill Paxton.
What is he's what's his name? Because it's something stupid. Oh, let me find
Coconut Pete.
Coconut Pete.
It's Coconut Pete, and it's Coconut Pete's like island adventure getaway or whatever. Yeah. So they like have all these activities for essentially college age students to do. And so they've got like all these, they've got the fun police and
Penelope
and like the fun police all have squirt guns filled with tequila that they spray at people when they're don't have a drink in their hand or whatever. But then it turns out that somebody's murdering people on this
Coconut Pete's Island
Coconut
adventure.
Pete's Island. But there's a scene where they're all sitting around a fire telling like stories with with each other and singing songs, and somebody's like, play Margaritaville. And everybody just like looks at this drunk college girl, and he's like, I think you mean Pina Colada Berg, a little song I wrote 5 goddamn years before Margaritaville was even on the map.
But everybody there knows Coconut Pete and Pina Colada Berg, and they're like, Margaritaville! Yeah! I think you mean Pina Colada Berg. No, Margaritaville! I think you mean Pina Colada Berg. A song, and he's so mad. Like, and so that people are like, maybe Coconut Pete's the killer.
Right.
I don't even remember who the murderer
I remember
is.
who the murderer is. I can tell you after this. I'm not going to spoil
Not gonna
it.
spoil the
I'm not going to spoil a good movie. I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it, you watch it, and then let us know how much you loved it, and let Zach Seawright know how much you hated it.
And if you didn't like it, shut up.
Right, you can just fuck off.
How about that?
I want to see Let's look Broken Lizard. So Jay Chandrashar, they were in a recent movie.
Yeah, Super Troopers 2.
Super Troopers 3 Winter Soldiers is apparently a thing.
Oh, would you look at that? I did not know that was a thing.
It literally only has an IMDb page with the 5 guys from Broken Lizard on it.
Gotcha.
But is there any other Jim James Jimmies we want to talk about? Or anything else we talked about in the show that we want to cover?
We need to cover in the... I don't think so.
How much more Jim Carrey can we quote?
Probably more than you want.
There's no such thing. You could never quote more than I want of Jim Carrey.
I think that's just more about you than it does him.
So, The Truman Show. Very good. And it kind of ends the same way Moneyball does that I kind of told you. It just kind of abruptly ends.
Gotcha.
But there's no, like, little blurb at the end, like in Moneyball, where it says, oh, the Red Sox won the World Series 2 years later, and this guy's still never won it. Yeah. Like, it doesn't say at the end of The Truman Show, he made it out and found the person that he loves and lived happily ever after. It's just him walking out and roll credits.
And then you're like, but.
I mean, they answered all the questions, but what I want to know, I mean, spoiler alert, he finds out he's in a TV show and he, like, leaves the dome. But what I'm kind of curious about is, like, how does he adapt to
life after living your entire life?
Because it's not like he got paid for any of his TV shows. So he's walking outside with no money, no real life experience, nothing.
Truman Show 2. This time.
With a vengeance.
He means business.
Truman Show 2, Pet Detective.
The masked pet detective. So that'll do it for the reaction show. Don, thank you as always.
Yeah.
Got that nice crackling fire over your shoulder. You look warm and homely on the YouTube video.
Isn't homely, like, ugly? Or is that comely? Homely, unattractive in appearance. You dick.
You dick. We'll catch you next time on the Rank 'em Podcast. Don is at Donnie_G.
Yeah, sure am.
Thanks for your help on this outro. I appreciate it.
Garrett is at Garrett Seawright, 2 R's, 2 T's. You can find us at Rank 'em Podcast on Twitter, Pornhub, OnlyFans, everywhere.